This podcast is part of the Listen Frederick Podcast Network. To learn more, visit listenfrederick.com.
What's up, guys? It's episode 98 of Beers in the Lot. Let me tell you, it's great to be back and talking hockey with my buddies again. And this week's episode did not disappoint. We had to start off talking a little bit about my trip to France. And then, of course, we hit on the subject of the Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup. We hit on a bunch of the storylines like Nazem Kadri and Nathan MacKinnon and Tampa's extremely impressive 3 straight trips to the Stanley Cup Final. So let's get to it and crack those cold beers.
What are you drinking out of that can there, Eric?
I have from Flying Dog the Rigsby House Beer Snake Dog in a can. And I think that you have something in a bottle, Johnny.
I have a Snake Dog in a glass and a bottle. Yeah. So we're twinning. We're twinning right now. Twinsies. Danny, what are you drinking?
So I also have a Liverette House beer, and that is Treehouse yet again.
Oh, the check cleared?
I'm drinking
this week?
Yeah. Got a vivid yellow.
Vivid yellow.
And it was all yellow.
No mediocre yellows.
And Aaron sounding like he hasn't had a beer in over 3 weeks. What are you drinking tonight, Aaron?
I am drinking a cold Lion Kugel's Summer Shandy, and I don't care. Black from these beer purists or snobs or what. I don't give a shit. I'm drinking some good stuff tonight.
The logo is yellow, so like you're technically twinning with Danny.
Yeah. It's this is a pretty vivid yellow. Maybe not as vivid as his, but
it's a decent yellow.
But it's good. And it's good to be back. It's good to be back in the US of A with land of cold drinks and air conditioning.
Yeah, don't forget it. Don't forget it, son. You're welcome.
I've been waiting for Aaron to go on his tirade.
Well, tell us about your time abroad.
How does a modern Western country not have air conditioning or refrigerated beverages? Please explain. Uh-oh.
French stopped him. They don't want him speaking. They shut him down.
Macron just cut his mic off.
He cut his mic.
He must talk no more.
Aaron's been silenced.
Holy shit.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Macron did do something.
It's like, you better not talk about my country like that.
No.
What the fuck happened?
I feel like this is Forrest Gump, and it's gonna be like Aaron. It's like, and that's all I have to say about that. And the guy's gonna go like, "Yeah, man." That's what it's gonna be.
So,
good chat, Danny. How do you feel about the game we played last night?
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
What do you want to say about it?
Nothing really. Nothing in particular, actually. Other than there were like 7 guys late. That's aggravating. Zero excuse.
I've never seen that many people be that late.
Every week?
It's an epidemic.
It's every week. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
We play every week. We play every week at the same time.
Fucking time.
Same 2 times. It's not hard.
And half the people that were late don't even have any fucking kids. You have no excuse.
That's even more ridiculous, I think. Is Aaron alive?
Maybe that was a fake video.
Did the French like send a hit squad after him? Like, what's going on here? You know what we should do? No, just go like, "Hey, Aaron, thanks for filling us in on France," and just not let him talk about it then. Like, no, you're not allowed to talk about it now.
You hear me?
Yep.
Yes. The French troll farm went after you.
I guess so. Something went after me. Anyway, fixed now. Yeah, how does a developed nation not have cold drinks? But oh my god, the French, you ask them for like a glass of ice water and they say, "What? Huh? Huh? Why do you need ice? What are you going to do with it?" What? No, like my brother actually, we were at a restaurant. And he said, "Can I get some ice in the water?" And they said, "What are you going to do with the ice?" Like they just don't do cold drinks. It was like 90 degrees out, and we asked for ice water, and they're like, "Why do you need ice? You don't need ice. Nobody needs ice." It was so ridiculous. So yes, they just don't do cold drinks. I got a Coke out of like a fridge at a gas station, and it was still warm. It wasn't really a fridge. It was just something that looked like a fridge, but it was a shelf. It was it was maddening. I was, tearing my hair out.
You know what aggravated me the most when I traveled, and I'm sure you figured this out pretty quick too. Like, you speak English to them, and they look at you like you have 7 heads. Like you landed in a fucking space saucer. Little fucking known fact: they teach English in school up to like essentially the 8th or 9th grade. They can totally converse with us for the most part.
Johnny,
yeah,
Johnny, they were just fucking with you.
Oh,
you specifically.
No.
Well, they were fucking with you,
little
Americans collectively.
Yes, Americans collectively. Little do they know, I fuck with them still.
All right. Okay.
I don't know how. I'm just gonna keep doing it. But yeah.
But apart from the air conditioner and the, cold drinks and a couple other gripes, it was a good trip. I had a lot of fun. So got to see the Eiffel Tower, got a picture of Beers in the Lot t-shirt on the Eiffel Tower, which I guess I didn't send to you guys, did I?
I don't think we saw that one.
I don't remember that one. I'll put that up.
Yeah.
I saw the bridge that was in Kiss of the Dragon, that good Jet Li movie I like. That was pretty dope.
Remember that one? Was that the Inception bridge?
It's yeah.
It's the same bridge?
Same bridge.
Yeah, it's the same bridge. Yeah. You were like, "Oh, it's the Inception bridge," and I'm like, "They also did the Jet Li movie, Kiss of the Dragon."
There you go. Apparently, it's known locally as the Inception Bridge. Like they even call it that in French. But
Leo,
very impactful movie, that Inception movie.
Yeah, a dream within a dream within a dream.
But it was a good trip. It was lots of fun, and got to see my brother get married. It was great.
Yeah, that's good.
But I'm happy to be home. Happy to be home for sure.
Land of cold beverages.
Land of cold beverages.
Billy Zane got through customs pretty quick.
I have a child.
Billy Zane. It's amazing. It's amazing how you can breeze through when you have an infant. Yeah.
Yep. That's right. Like, oh yeah.
Do you want to piss this off?
Get up here. Yeah. Quick, get out of here so we don't have to hear it cry. Basically.
Alden Hockley coming through. I have a child.
Yeah, unfortunately, while I was out, I didn't really get to catch much hockey because it was all happening at like 3 a.m. for me. So I didn't get to watch anything until I got home, which means I basically got to catch game 5 and 6 then here. So
the two best
game
games.
6 was the ones to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 best games.
I mean, I think Eric and I were kind of talking yesterday before our game. Like, I think those 1-goal games, I think that's more of a true representation of how that series kind of went, how those 2 teams were matched. But especially last night, like Tampa gave it everything they possibly could, and just Avs just shut the damn door. Like, I think they had 2 shots the entire third period. I mean, it was just like,
and the one was McDonough from like mid ice at like 11 minutes.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Like, they couldn't get it going.
Shutting the door.
Yep. Yeah. About midway through the second and then into the third, Lightning just had nothing left in the tank. Like they were trying what they could, but they didn't have enough to get anything going. And anything that they did start to get going, the Avs just shut it down. They had like one decent chance where there was like a cross ice pass to Kucherov, but that was it. So
Some of us got to watch that in the lot after our game. It was great.
That was a great time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Great
that
time.
was fun.
Yes. Actually, somebody that's active on the Discord server, goalie in the league, brought a TV, hooked it up in the back of his SUV, streamed the game over his phone. It was pretty cool. That was a good time.
nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Another person, one of the elders, actually ordered some pizzas, so we were having some
Hey, you guys had
slices.
I saw you guys had some hot and readies.
No,
right?
man, it was Papa John's.
Oh, it was Papa John's.
It was
Oh, okay.
Father Jonathan's. Yeah,
Father
Father
Jonathan's.
Jonathan's.
Wow. Living large. Living large.
It's like a
Father
$15 pizza.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, with $3 worth of dip that comes with each one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
the
the dip.
pepperoncinis and the
All the-
pepperoncinis.
And
they
the
charge extra for
pepperoncinis,
that.
yeah.
the $5 cup of butter.
Yeah.
Because what you really need to do is dip this greasy ass pizza in butter.
And more grease.
Yeah. And what's worse is the grease runs off the pizza. Like that's the worst thing. Like the butter doesn't even stick to the freaking pizza. It's so greasy.
That's why when you dip it, you gotta do it in one motion. Just dip right in the mouth.
It's
Oh,
more
like a
like
spoon. Just
scoop,
use it like a
scoop.
spoon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
scoop.
Yeah.
a scooping motion.
Actually, I heard the best stat actually of the entire cup run. Subtract like all the McCarr stuff and the fact McKinnon or McDavid and Draisaitl still finished 1 and 2 in points. Stamkos, Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon are 4 out of 11 players all time to do what?
Score more than 1 point per game.
Nope. Number 1 overall draft picks to win a Stanley Cup with a team that drafted him number 1 overall.
Oh wow.
Oh, nice.
Stamkos, Ovi, Sid, and Mac. There are others. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. I'm sure I'll remember, a good chunk of the list if I go back. But I heard that earlier today and I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. But think of some of the guys like recently that have been, 1 overall or they're busts or whatever. Because Eric Johnson was a first overall draft pick traded from St. Louis to the Avs. So, yeah. So I was like, holy shit, that's great. And actually, I think the Avs I did a little digging too. I think like in terms of draft picks per team, I think every team since like 2004 has had 10 or more. I think Colorado only had like 6, I think. But a good chunk of their core, they've been there for quite some time, like in terms of McKinnon and Lando. So those are the only two, like, and Eric Johnson, but he was traded. But those are the, like, let's call it original Avs where they had
Their
like the
core.
Patrick Waugh, the Waugh era, and then the start of the Ben. The Waugh era.
The one
Think about
season.
that. But think about it. Everyone talks. Yeah, everyone talks about that. Waugh was there. Waugh was there for 2 seasons. Bailed like 2 weeks before the start of the season. They hired Bednar fresh off his AHL Calder Cup run. They hired him. They ended up with like 40 some points, and he thought he was going to get shit canned.
They
And I
went.
think
They were the bottom of the
Yes.
league 5 years ago.
bottom. And
Bottom
I think
by like 20 points, even.
Yes.
I think like
exactly.
it's
Exactly.
not even close.
And I think Tampa and Colorado are good like case studies in like if you have the right people in place and you truly believe them and you get the runway from your owner, shit does work out. Now, granted, you need a little bit of luck. You need to make sure you technically have the right people because there's better case studies of people like going, oh, we're fine, we're gonna run it back, and it falls the fuck apart. But like those two teams, in terms of that, the core for both, like they've done it. So we'll see what Colorado does. They have a ton of people, either UFA or RFA, a ton. They may need another goalie. Just my thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Grubauer's a free agent. They can bring him back.
Yeah, and then Kadri could go back to Toronto
and never win again. Also, you know what ticked me off watching Kadri? Like, I mean, yeah, he said like all the guys that said it was a liability, they can kiss my ass. it made me hate Evander Kane even more. Like, what a freaking joke that guy is. Oh, just pissed me off.
Why does this come back to Evander Kane?
Yeah, you're gonna have to explain this.
He busted his thumb and he missed the first couple of games of the cup. I'm glad Kadri was able to like actually play in the cup final, but like screw Kane. He's such a dink. God, I hate that guy.
I still don't see it, but okay.
I get that. Okay.
Because I was just thinking, like, seeing him hold the damn cup, and I'm like, oh, his thumb all fucking Evander Kane. God damn it. Yeah.
What?
What?
We're missing the link here.
I still don't
Kadri
understand.
got hurt. Kadri got hurt by Evander Kane.
Yes.
Where the hell were you?
And Kadri came back and he scored.
I was in France, by the way.
It just still.
He scored the overtime winner.
Oh yeah, I forget how long you were away drinking warm beverages. Jesus, sorry.
I don't understand why.
It just aggravates me because it's like a dirtball player just doing something dumb, and it almost robbed Kadri of like, you know, we made the joke like because our roster is so big in beer league, if we win the championship, we're gonna have guys just come on the ice afterwards in their
Just
gear.
get
We have
dressed.
like 28 guys. We have 28 guys.
Like, don't even play in the game. Like they're not even in the league or anything, and they just come and they get dressed and come on
the ice. And I feel like I was like, you know, I'm glad Kadri was able to compete, but like how borderline was that thumb injury where he could have been one of those guys that like Sam Girard, where, you know, I don't even think he like dressed to get back on the ice with the sternum.
He was on.
He was on.
I saw him.
Yeah, you're right. But like that's what I'm thinking. Like he couldn't even suit up. Like that's like in Kadri, it just I don't know.
Okay, we'll leave that alone.
Well, yeah,
I
we're just
do
gonna
wanna-
leave it alone.
I do want to talk about what Kadri said though, because
Oh yeah, go for it.
I don't know. Somebody's probably already said this today, but I think he was talking about specific people on or in specific organizations. I think
Toronto.
Yeah.
Do you think
Them
a guy
and-
named Dial Kubis?
I think he was speaking directly to certain people when he said that. And like I don't know if any media people have or if they will like say that, but I think there was something very specific that he was addressing there.
Well, the fact he used the word liability, like that to me almost feel kind of like what you're saying, like when they had an exit meeting when he was leaving Toronto, someone said, "Hey, you're too much of a liability to us in these situations." And therefore,
even worse than that, what if that was said during free agency / contract talks? You know, when his agent went to Dubas and Shanny and said, you know, yeah, he's a Maple Leafs kid, like he would like to stay here. And they were like, well, you know, we can't give you what you want. And this is why. To me, that was a very sharp statement. A lot of people are just like, oh, it's because, you know, he really had to work coming up. And he's gone through a lot of stuff on and off the ice that's well documented. The St. Louis bullshit, the Evander Kane bullshit with Johnny is, you know, Johnny's a hot little potato tonight about that.
Hot little tater tot.
yes, I am very angry little tater tot.
You know, he's gone through a lot and he's still a very good player. And, you know, that's very obvious in how he contributed to the cup final after he came back and basically had one hand. But I don't think it was a general statement. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think so.
I agree with that. It's kind of cool to hear players, you know. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
man.
we won the cup, so
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Just big middle fingers all over the screen.
Well, it was really funny too because like during the second intermission, I guess Nathan McKinnon was talking to Emily Kaplan, and she was like, "What are you feeling now going into this third period and these last 20 minutes?" And he's like, "No emotions. I've got no emotion. We're just focused on these next 20 minutes." You know, he was just so like you could see it in the interview too. He's like, I'm giving bullshit answers because I need to get back to this room and get my guys ready to win this cup. Like, I don't care about this interview. I've got no emotions. I'm not telling you anything right now. And then once they win the cup, he's talking to Emily Kaplan again, and he's just gushing. He is just absolutely full of emotion. It was so cool to see. And I love seeing that when the players are like just in that high, and it's pure personality showing at that point. That's why it's so cool when the cup gets awarded and we see all these, like, you know, the videos of the locker rooms, like celebrations and stuff. The celebrations are the best part of seeing a team win the cup. Like, hands down.
Yes. Especially with Mac, because, you know, that there was another piece today written by Greg Wyshynski over at ESPN about him getting on guys about doing the right things to be prepared to play, and screaming and yelling at them when they mess up and all. That's like the second piece in the last year and a half that's come out about that. You know, that guy trains so hard, and he's trained so hard for so many years. That was a huge bubble of emotion that was bursting.
Yeah.
It probably still is, like tonight. Like, I'm sure they're out on the town in Denver or whatever.
Yep.
But you're seeing that. And that was something that I talked about before the series started, was like, oh man, we're going to get to see Mac like let loose, because he's been like almost robotic about like just straight and narrow, the diet and the training and how do we prepare mentally and like all this stuff, and you know, pushing his teammates and all that. Like, now, like, you finally get to see him dump the champagne out of the cup all over his face in the room, and like screaming and yelling like a idiot in the room, like when Lando comes in with the cup. Like, it was just so cool, like, to finally see him, the real Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
What did he say about Sid? He was like expecting him to be sauced up at his party.
Yeah,
he said he was being interviewed, and he said, or somebody said, so you've been to a couple of cup celebration parties back at Cole Harbor, huh? And he said, yeah, I've been to a couple. Sid, I was the drunkest guy at his parties. Well, he actually didn't say Sid's name. He said, I was the drunkest guy at those parties, so I expect him to be the drunkest at mine. And you know.
So the way I kind of think of that too, like, so they always say like McKinnon's such a competitor, he's this maniac, blah blah blah. I think it's kind of interesting. So like Alfredson, Luongo, and the Sedins are going to go on the Hall of Fame. All four of those guys, minus Alfredson, are great NHL players. Yeah, I hate Alfredson.
Okay.
All those guys are totally cool. Yeah, I know. He's a dickhead. That's him firing the puck at Niedermayer. All those guys were like really, really solid NHL players, but none of those guys ended up winning a cup. And I don't think, like, I'm sure they see stuff like this, they're kind of like, fuck, really wish I got it. Like, McKinnon almost strikes me as the psychopath who, like, afterwards would just like be seething. Like, he goes to the Hall of Fame and he like, let's say he just doesn't win. He goes to like the Hall of Fame fucking ceremony years later and just like goes, thanks. And then just like leaves. Like, he just strikes me as like a guy who's just like so angry. So like now, actually, hopefully, I mean, and maybe, I don't know, but like maybe he lightens up a little bit. I'm not saying, I hope he doesn't, because I actually think it'd be cooler if he was still kind of a psychopath. but like, I think like this is great for like, I think just his brand, and also too like that whole Colorado team where like Joe Sakic like went all in on this team
this year,
knowing that there's going to be a ton of shit that changes. So we'll kind of see, you know, because I mentioned the cupboards are kind of bare in terms of like their draft picks and whatnot, and they got a lot of money they got to pay out in the next couple of years, including Max. So like that's going to be interesting to see.
I don't think they have to like go into a rebuild mode. I think it's just one of these deals where they might have a couple tough years. They're still going to make playoffs. Like, come on, you know.
I think that it can almost turn into Tampa. They're like, let's just get in and we'll see what happens. Like, and Tampa, I don't think Tampa's done either. I mean, they got a lot of retooling to do, but like they got the best goalie on the planet.
Yeah.
So like,
well, I mean, even if they retool, you keep Makar, McKinnon, Lando, Rantanen. I mean, that's a solid 4 guys. I mean, you could definitely build around them.
You get a healthy Gerard back. EJ sticks around one more year. Jack Johnson, I mean, he could sign another 1-year deal. Who knows? Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
You could say it now. It's like the whole Phil Kessel shtick,
Yeah.
like
2-time Stanley Cup champion.
I saw a graphic today about, like, you brought up Phil, about the Leafs that have left and won.
Oh yeah.
Like Phil and Kadri and like all these guys. Like,
it's Phil, Kadri, Bozak. Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh, poor guys.
Sorry, Toronto.
How pissed do you think McDavid is, though?
Yeah, man.
I think he's got other stuff to worry about.
He's got other things going on right now.
Actually, I don't know if you saw. I think it was like yesterday or today. He wished his girlfriend Lauren a happy birthday. So I'm really happy for him.
Okay.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about that, did we? When he got caught walking down the street, shit hammered.
Yeah,
with a lady that's not his girlfriend.
I'll leave it very simple. Lauren, who is Connor McDavid's girlfriend, is blonde. This chick, not blonde. I'll just leave it at that. She was not blonde.
Yeah,
she was not blonde.
Somewhat compromising situation.
I don't think he's allowed to go out with Zach Cassian anymore. That's all I'll say. I don't think he's allowed to go. Remember like weeks ago, I was like, why didn't they put Zach Cassian on McDavid's line? Probably because they're like, every time you're with Zach, you do weird, stupid shit. That's what his girlfriend's saying. No.
Coach had told him, keep him off his line.
Yeah. You keep him off a goddamn line.
You know why they did it? Because Evander Kane.
Oh yeah, he finished the league in playoff goals.
Leading with playoffs and goals. That's why. Haha, John.
Yeah.
You're so angry at him.
Yeah. There was only one person who got suspended for the remainder of a playoff series. That was Evander Kane. Actually, to make note of that, McKinnon, everyone said he was playing good throughout the series, but didn't, he wasn't getting cookies, but he was doing all the right things. 2 points, goal and an assist in the biggest game. So, boom. And Lehkonen, like we were saying, Joe kind of assembled a good team. Lecky, gets another goal. So.
the Lecky.
Oh, the Lecky.
From the same spot on the ice that he scored that goal with Montreal to put them in the final.
And the funny thing is that McKinnon shot on Vasilevsky, it couldn't have been more perfect.
Yeah.
Like to beat him, it was like bang. Vassy got better as the series went on. I mean, without a doubt.
He does.
And you almost noticed in that third period too, Colorado buckled down so hard because I think in their head, they're like, if they tie it up and they win this fucking game and we got to go back to Colorado, we got problems. Like I don't think they said it, but I think like, I bet Bednar in his private coaches meetings was like, I don't care what we got to do. I don't care if we got to throw sticks on the ice.
I said it before the series even started.
You also like wishy-washied 100 times.
What did I say?
I don't remember it this time. You said 100 times. I said Tampa in 7.
I said Avs in 6. And then that was after you pressured me because I was like, they have to win it before it goes to game 7. If it goes to game 7, they were going to lose. Tampa was going to win if it went to game 7. I don't care if they were down 3-1 or whatever. Like that's what was going to happen because that's what they are.
Yeah.
They're just going to outlast you until they can't. Right. And that's 3 long years of hockey for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like back-to-back cups, which does not happen anymore. Like that I doubt, well, who knows, but like, how can that even happen anymore? We just talked about the cap situation for Colorado again, and then they went back a third time. Like, it's unbelievable.
And the one thing too, like somebody said something, I saw it on Twitter. It was actually like one of the guys for one of the Hockey Now websites. I can't remember if it was Pittsburgh or Seattle or one of them, early on in the series when it was looking very bleak for Tampa, they're like, oh, this ruins the Tampa dynasty. And I kind of was like,
come on.
I was like, time out. Because if anyone remembers when the Islanders won, they swept Edmonton. And then the next year they got swept. And no one talks about how, oh, they got swept by the Islanders the last one. No one remembers that.
It's because we want to put these labels like dynasty on shit, and then we try to attach a value
and
to it.
It's a salary cap era. You can't do it anymore. Yeah.
No, it's not the same shit. Like this is, like whatever. You can't take anything away from Tampa.
I think what they did was not only very remarkable, but very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Like it's something that I think
3 trips to the final. I mean, come on.
And think about the years. Like they were during we could actually say it, COVID years, air quotes. Like there were some NHL players and guys who were just retiring and resigning because they're like, I can't fucking take this. And the fact that those guys, especially the first one, the bubble, where they were essentially trapped. I mean, I hate saying it that way, but they had very nice amenities, so it wasn't like they were in prison. But yeah, it's a grind. It's a grind. And then this year, like they had every reason they could have. I mean, against New York, even against the Leafs, it would have been easy for them to go like, oh God, I don't have that juice. Just to, one more shift, one more shot. They could have, I'm not saying any of those guys would have bagged it, but like no one would have been like, oh God, they're horrible. Why couldn't they do it?
You look at the game ones that they had too, where, they got blown out by New York in that, that game one of that
and
series. Toronto, the first,
and Avs.
Well, game 2 versus Avs.
Game 2, but
game 2. Sorry,
the first game was
OT.
overtime. But they didn't have great starts in 3 of the 4 series. So you're kind of sitting there like, okay, well, this is where they're running out of gas. And then they start kind of making things interesting and then winning series and stuff. And that, that's again, it's just a testament to what the players did and the way that the organization reacted to losing players and bringing people in to fill holes and all that kind of stuff. It is very impressive. And you cannot, whoever is saying like, oh, well, because they didn't win 3, it's not that great. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
They won back-to-back cups in the salary cap era. It went to a third straight final.
It was 11 straight playoff series wins.
Right.
Yeah,
like
their last playoff loss was Columbus in 2018 or something, or 2019, I think.
2019,
when they got swept.
Got swept out, yeah.
God, can you imagine how pissed they're going to be now?
11 straight playoff wins.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, where it preaches patience, after that Columbus series, they could have been like, we're done. This is garbage.
Blow it up.
You're gone. You're gone.
Let's
Get out of here.
rebuild. Yeah.
You're worthless. You're worthless. You're second most worthless. Go down the line there. And they didn't. They kept. I mean, there were a lot of people that were like calling for Cooper's head.
Yeah.
Well,
and they didn't.
Those are stupid people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like organizations and owners where they kind of like, they're like, hey, we're gonna keep this together.
That's not a hindsight 2020 thing either. Those are stupid people that ever said that.
If he got fired, like I said, if he got fired, he would have a job interview with 29 other teams probably tomorrow morning.
As soon as the rumor tweets hit the interwebs, his phone would be blowing up.
When you leaving? You want to come over to X team?
You want to come to Toronto?
Want to come to the Isle?
Oh, that would be brutal.
Be careful out there on the Isle, though. It doesn't matter how good you do.
Yeah, Lou's gonna screw you with your roster.
Crazy Uncle Lou.
So the real question is Corey Perry going to try to sign with the Avs?
Oh my gosh!
Take a nice
and then
discount.
They'll lose. And then they'll lose. They'll lose next year.
He's trying to do a Hossa.
If those rumors like actually start, I mean, it's just jokes right now. It's internet jokes, right? It's memes. Like there's the picture of him with the jersey on, like the headshot or whatever. If there's actual rumors about that, though, I guarantee McKinnon marches straight into Joe Sakic's office and is like,
No.
absolutely fucking not.
No, you know what he's going to ask? He's going to go, Joe. He's going to go, Joe, what are his diet habits? That's the first thing he's going to want to know. That's the first thing he wants to know. Actually, though, like, kudos to Corey Perry. Like, as a guy who already won a cup, he's an elder statesman playing in a role, and he's been very effective every cup run. It sucks he's come out. Actually, this was probably his best chance. The other two times, like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Meh.
yeah,
Yeah. Road.
this was his best chance.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
oh well. Early predictions for next year. Are we talking like 3-peat,
Jesus.
2-peat, 5-peat? How many
Toronto's
peats are we
going.
getting?
Toronto's going.
They were even saying on the one broadcast that the Vegas odds for next year are already out, and it's Toronto at number 1, Avs are at number 2, and then Lightning are at number 3.
Is that with Dryden McKay being their number 1 goalie?
I don't know.
Jack Campbell's gone.
He gone.
He's going to Edmonton.
Toronto. You got to be an idiot to bet on Toronto though. Any year at this
I
point.
bet on Toronto.
That's
I bet on Toronto. I took a
Would
flyer.
you?
I had Toronto, Vegas, and the Jets. Those were, I bet on it in like July of last year. 2 of the teams didn't make the playoffs. I put $10 down on each. Jets were like plus 4,000. Jets were plus 4,000. I think like Leafs were like only like 850 and Vegas was like 750 or something. I got it kind of early.
I saw something that some guy put a $500 bet on the Avs back in July, and I don't know what his odds were, but he won something like $200K or something ridiculous. I don't know how, but there's got to be something else to it besides just a $500 bet. But
maybe it was, maybe he had some other stuff on there.
there must have been something else.
Some prop stuff on there.
Yeah, right. X points for whoever or whatever.
Hal McCarr would win the. What
Yeah,
would he
right.
win?
Oh,
The
Kale.
Conn Smythe.
So sick. Constant.
So sick.
Oh,
Arizona's at plus 50,000. That's really good odds.
just put $5 on them until they win it.
Yeah, I know.
$1
Just
on
put
him.
$5. Caps are at plus 3,500.
Who?
The Caps plus
Might be-
3,500.
That might be too good.
Penguins are plus 2,000. I think that's very generous.
That is very generous.
Very
We're about
generous.
to lose somebody.
Those two teams might not even make the playoffs next
Yeah,
season.
I don't know. That's very generous.
I'm
odds.
sorry, but like,
Maybe fighting for a wild card.
yeah, no shit.
Both of us.
Maybe not even that close. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
Did you guys watch the unrivaled E60 Detroit Colorado rivalry
Not yet.
back in the day?
Nope.
Not yet. The 30 for
Oh.
30?
It's
Not
a
yet.
it's a E60, but yes,
Okay.
watch it.
It's good.
Yes,
Of
watch
course,
it.
it's good.
Watch
Yeah.
it.
Of
It is
course it's
awesome.
good.
It's awesome. Sick. You just have all those guys from back then: Draper, McCarty, Yzerman, Sakic, Forsberg. They
Just
have
talking about it all.
They even have Konstantinov and his daughter on
Oh,
there.
that's cool.
Like it's sick. Scotty Bowman, all of them. Mark Crawford, everybody. The whole crew.
Nice.
From that 3 years, 96, 97, 98, when it was just wars every time those two teams played. And then, the Draper thing with Lemieux. Lemieux's on there.
He's such a piece.
Watch the show. Watch the show.
I will, but I met Claude Lemieux in person, and I remember even saying, like, should I ask him to hit me from behind, like Draper? And so I made it as a joke, not to his face. And somebody goes, if look at the size of that guy, if he does that to you, you're gonna be paralyzed. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And then I shook his hand and I kind of had like a smirk, and he looked at me and then I stopped smirking because I thought he was gonna pummel me.
No,
He's probably
man,
in his head. He's probably in his head. He's like, this kid's about to say something about Draper. I know it.
dude, no.
It's always kids that look like this.
Watch the show. Watch the show. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really well done. It's awesome. You get to hear it directly from those guys. Like it's really, really good. And it kind of, if you were watching back then, which I like back then, I was actually kind of into Colorado when they moved from Quebec to Colorado. Like I kind of like that deal. And then I've told the story before about I took Russian in high school. This is Detroit Russian 5 days and all that stuff. So there was like there was a large Russian population where I grew up too. And so some of those kids would help out in the class and they were all big Red Wings fans. So just to be a troll, like I would be like, oh yeah, Colorado. But then, I love Joe Sakic and like all that stuff. So it took me back. Like if I felt like I was watching all that stuff for the first time again. It was really cool. So
It was definitely cool watching it the first time.
oh
For
my
real,
God. Oh,
That was amazing.
I feel like shit popped off more back then too.
yeah. And they
Different
they actually talk to that. Like that kind of stuff wouldn't happen today.
No.
It wouldn't
Nothing
happen.
close.
Maybe the initial
Nothing close.
dust up. Maybe the initial dust up, sure, but everything after that, no.
It really is. As bad as some of the stuff happens like today, like again, going back to the Kadri Evander Kane thing, that's a dangerous play. And what happened, he got injured on it and he was out, right? And probably shouldn't have been playing if it was a regular season game, but since it's playoffs, like, do what you have to do. That could have been way worse too.
Yeah.
If they're going back and making that play and Evander Kane really wants to, it could be a Lemieux Draper situation where he really messes him up.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I just don't think that, like, I don't think players are like that to a certain extent anymore.
Well, do you think maybe, because I thought this the other day, do you think maybe part of it's also like semi-salary cap era based stuff where like guys are like, oh, well, I know maybe in a few years I'm going to end up on this team, or like we share the same agent, so it just makes things awkward, or even like, oh, well,
It could be
we
part
see
of it
more.
I think like the culture of the game changed too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't think the kids coming up nowadays are taught
Exactly.
those sort of things.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no.
Yeah,
And
good point.
they're focusing more on like, hitting correctly and not making dangerous plays. So I mean,
blocking shots like Chris Russell. Yeah, you're right.
No, that's the thing, and we make a lot of it, about the development efforts in USA hockey, and now it's starting to really gain steam in Hockey Canada, and depending on where you're at in the country, like it's different, but I think this sort of generation and this like the current culture, like that kind of stuff just doesn't happen anymore. It's not even a thought anymore that you would do those types of things to try and win. I think there's more positive emphasis put on let's just be better players and like win the game by like playing better hockey. Like I think that's
actually being skilled.
Right. Yep. I think that's where, because like
that's the emphasis of the game these days.
Again, like you look at Evander Kane and he was leading the playoffs in goals. So clearly, like there's a player there. And we've said before, like there's a player there. And then with Kadri, he's known as an agitator, right?
A liability, some would say.
A liability, some would say. Some would say.
In some circles, I've heard liability.
I've also heard that.
But he's also, he can skate. He's a very smart player defensively, and he can put the puck in the net. So, I just think like those types of players and that the way that game was played back then is just, it doesn't happen anymore, and it's never going to happen again, probably.
Nope.
They were saying with the Backstrom thing, Kadri may be like a target for the Caps.
Yeah, there's a lot of heat around that. Yeah, him and
he's a great player.
Yeah, Kadri's awesome, man.
Who's the kid in Calgary that they want too?
Johnny Hockey.
Yeah, there was some heat around that too. So
the Johnny Hockey thing aggravates me because he's from New Jersey and he was in like Cape May or one of those Jersey shore towns, like just vacationing with his family. And people are like, "Oh, look, he's signing in Philadelphia." I'm like,
he's literally from New Jersey. He's literally from New Jersey.
I'm like, this is I'm like, he has vacationed there his entire life, probably. You morons.
Oh, he goes to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah. He just starts fist pumping.
Yeah.
Come on.
GTL.
Yeah.
It'd be like if Sid went home to Nova Scotia and was like vacationing in Nova Scotia and they're like, oh, he's gonna sign with the Leafs.
Yeah.
With the Habs or whatever. Like,
well,
it's
if he was gonna go somewhere,
it probably would be the Habs.
It would be Montreal because that was his team growing up. Yeah.
That's why he knows how to speak French.
Yeah.
I think Sid's just at the point like Ovechkin. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think they're going to retire with their teams, and that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
I honestly think that if Sid was going to go somewhere, he'd probably go. He might go to the Avs. Honestly,
no,
he might play with Mac.
No,
I think he would just retire.
He'd probably retire before he did that.
Going anywhere.
I think he's. Yeah. Oh, he's going anywhere.
As good as he is, and like in the modern game and everything, he has an old school mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These days, it's an old school mindset.
Yeah. Where, you know what? This is the team that brought me in. I came up with. I won my championships here.
Yep.
This is the city that I grew up in, right? Like, essentially.
And if you think, like Ray Bourque, the only reason he left Boston was to go win a championship.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. He actually wanted to stay there. And the only reason he re-signed in Colorado that one more year was because he was like, shit, this is probably the best chance I have again.
Right, we could do it again. Yeah.
We can run it back. And they did. And then he retired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he only did it to chase. Ray Bourque, also very old school. But no, I think there's greater chance of the kid out in Edmonton leaving that place to go chase a championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking that Sid's lived in Pittsburgh longer than he's lived anywhere else at this point.
Right?
Yeah. Because he's 35-ish, somewhere around there. Pretty close anyway.
Maybe he'll go
another year.
35 in August.
Maybe he'll go teach clinics with Tyler Kennedy.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He's down in Virginia this week.
Oh, he'll show up in Johnstown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're awesome.
Holy shit.
Sorry, Sid.
Sid walks into Scott's. Oh my
Could you
God.
imagine? Holy shit.
He's calling McKinnon. Hey, what should I get here? I'm curious for dietary.
Ask him how much it costs. Ask him how much it costs to put every bottle of liquor into the margarita machine. Like
Exactly.
Well, there's episode 98 for you. Hope you enjoyed the listen. We certainly enjoy the fact that you are listening. We appreciate all the support we get, all of your listens and likes and ratings and reviews and subscriptions. Thank you so much. We drop a new episode every week. We normally record on Mondays, and next Monday is July the 4th, so expect something a little different, but not something unusual for us. And also don't forget to join us on Discord at beersandalot.com/Discord. Have a great week, everybody. We'll catch you next time. See ya.